wherever you are. Try smiling now. Are you smiling? Are you smiling? Just smile. Take a deep breath, everyone. Out. Now end it with a smile. Now imagine when you are greeting everyone beside you with this beautiful smile. Try it more often. Okay, now next activity. Can you make a list of small good manners? I've written like a long list of bad manners. So can you quickly make a list? Start typing in the chat box now. List of good manners now.
Okay, someone says greeting elders. The other one says always saying thank you when you receive something.
Okay, good. Can we have more, please?
So
Small
far, that's what
curtsies.
we have.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said dressing properly, saying excuse me and sorry when you bump into people,
Mm-hmm.
observing table manners, helping people out.
Mm-hmm. More.
That's what we have so far.
Mm-hmm. We're going to give us 1 minute to have more people participating. Mm-hmm.
Being kind to people.
Okay, saying excuse me when you bump. I've seen that. Okay, go ahead. More people. Offering a
Okay.
seat to an elder or disabled. Well done. Mm-hmm. Trying to keep people happy when they feel bad. Cover your mouth when you cough. Not fighting. Well done. What else? Being friendly. Mm-hmm. More. What else? I want you to begin to think about your school. Let's think about small curtsies in school. Think about small curtsies at home. Think of the different situations where you meet people in church, for instance. What are the small curtsies in church? Always apologize when you are wrong. Let's think about the church now. Mm-hmm. I like to see more. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Karen. Well done, everyone. Justina, well done. Always apologize. Raising hands, beautiful. Do not use phones in church. Amazing. Comforting those who are sad. Consoling people when they have lost someone. Beautiful. Well done. Not being rude. Yes. So, what about, not being extremely loud while on the phone in public? Well done. Amazing. Don't chew gum in church. Well done, Karen. Any more? We have a few seconds to go, but I'm quite impressed with all the feedback we are getting. Is there any other area where we need courtesy? There's courtesy for friendship. Be considerate. Put others first. Yes. Obey public rules. Amazing. Good. Well done. Courtesy on the road. Courtesy on the road. Courtesy at home. Let's see courtesy at home. On the dining table. Beautiful. Not judging people. Well done. Good. Do not run the red light. Beautiful. Not playing inappropriate songs. Not spending time on your phone. Taking time to talk to people. Find out who they are, how they feel. Switch off your phone in church. Well done. See, it's amazing what we know and what we need to apply. Remember what I've said to us. Our ability to use these manners and to portray these social skills is actually what identifies us for who we are. Now, let's see how many of what we've written have reflected on this list. It took me a long time to put up this list, but let's see how many. Who can count for us? Which one? Is there anyone we haven't already mentioned? I see one already. Can you type in your chat box if you notice anyone we didn't mention? Can you type in the chat box? One person. to use, let's other, yes, we didn't type that. Use compliments, okay? Mm. Did we say keep your hands to yourself and don't grab things off people? Do not bully others. Ask permission to do things. Mm-hmm. Good. So we now have additional things to think about in our list. Let me take it back again so that people can really look at it and internalize them. Make eye contact in conversations. We did see that. Shake hands when greeting. Mm-hmm. Good. So I'm quite amazed and I'm impressed with our responses, and I'm quite impressed with the feedback. Thank you everyone for sharing your ideas with everyone, with the group. Now let's watch this lady.
Know the popularity of smartphones and social media has disrupted some of those social norms that older generations are brought up with. Now, Akila CT is an etiquette expert, and she's here with some lessons on manners in the age of technology. Welcome back. We are super excited to have you. I mean, this is something that is severely needed.
Yeah.
And we're going to start by addressing some of the problems that, these teens and sometimes not teens have because of all the social media and technology.
And I like that you said that, not teens, because adults are falling into the same categories.
Just like me.
Just don't look at people in the eye. Like, that's one of my pet peeves, because I teach too. So sometimes they just won't look you in the eye because they're used to looking down at their smartphones.
Wow.
So you're just like, just look at me in the eye, okay? So let's do a nice
Stressful.
handshake. Say hello when you walk into a room. Don't just automatically go to your security blanket, which is oftentimes the phone when you're uncomfortable. What do you do when you're by yourself sometimes? You just pull your phone out.
I admit I do that. I would fall into that trap. I'll be somewhere and like,
yeah, I'm comfortable with all my friends here, right?
Focus. Don't look at me.
So you want to teach them to, when they walk into an event or walk into a room, maybe 10 minutes without their smartphone, to challenge them to look at who's around the room and maybe introduce themselves to somebody. Have you said hello to somebody?
I have to speak to people.
Right.
Wow. And with text messaging and everything, people get into, I guess, are a little lazy, right, with their vocabulary.
Right.
There's a lot of uhs and ums when you're actually having to speak, as you said.
Yes. And that's what, when I was little, my mom, that was one of my mom's pet peeves, if I said yeah and huh. So that's why I kind of teach my teenagers, make sure you're saying yes, no. And people are like, well, they're kids. They don't have to learn this now, but it will transcend when they're into their adulthood. When they're at interviews, they're not like, yeah, whatever, those different types of things.
LOL.
Right, LOL. Yeah, speaking and then speaking emoticons, all those different things, responding to emails that way. So get
Happy
the proper
face.
language now. Yes.
Complete sentences, everyone.
Full sentences.
Yes, I'm over here like, what sentence can I use? LOL, happy face.
Right.
That's how I talk.
Do you understand? But we do get what that means, but maybe an older generation may not, that you're trying to get a job from.
Yeah.
Now, you're talking about the different generations, parents, kids, teenagers, everyone's guilty. And there's no real rule book for this.
Right.
So how did you get started with this, and what would be your, I guess, number one etiquette rule?
Well, the challenge was parents were coming to me saying my kids don't talk to me. They don't know how to start a conversation. So that's been years and years, right? That's nothing new.
No.
But with the social media and with the new devices that we have, that's allowed it to happen more. So what I just tell people is to make sure parents are checking their kids on a consistent basis, not just letting it slide when we're at home. You have the same manners that you have at home that you should have out in public. So just make sure you're reiterating that.
And you reiterated about personal space. What did you mean by that?
Well, in kindergarten, they're starting to teach personal space now. And a lot of people within our culture, we like to have 1.5 feet. In other cultures, it may be this close if you travel, right? But just being aware that you are, like when people are standing in line, don't be so close behind them. That's not going to speed up the line, right?
Right.
So just make sure you're giving everybody their boundaries and their personal space.
My daughter actually did that. I was trying to take a picture with her sister. She's like, personal space. I'm like, this is a picture. You don't get personal space. Right. What can they do? What can teens do to make sure that they are focusing on their skills? Just real quick.
It's that challenge of putting the phone away for 30 minutes, making sure their phone or their social media is turned off at night, maybe setting a time. I know a lot of teenagers don't want to hear that, but you'll see that you can actually enjoy other things and focus on other things. And there's consequences to posting online. Recently, Harvard just released that they rescinded their offers to 10 students in a private group chat. Group chat, because they were doing inappropriate things in that private group chat. So they went around saying, I got into Harvard, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
All right, lesson learned.
Yes. And I think that is so important for that. And you're teaching some of these things to students. And she'll be doing these one-day charm schools in June from the 24th
Okay.
And the teenage years are a key time for developing social skills.
Okay. I'm going to take a break here. And so far, we've been looking at more of etiquette and, person development. I've tried to impress on us the fact that having the right good manners, which is actually dependent on understanding the rules for every situation, develops who you are. But what I want us to do then now is to actually practice what we've been doing. And I want us to look at first impressions. I'm going to create a scenario now. You get into a room. Can you see me, please, Miss? Can you see me?
Yes,
Because
ma'am,
I just
we
see
can
my
see you.
screen.
Yes, we can see
you. Get okay. All right, thank you very much. I want to give a few tips and then I'll ask some of the teenagers to try practicing it. So you must have been hearing from everywhere since we started talking, making eye contact, using your facial expressions, having energy in your voice, being assertive, being polite, and then using, being yourself. I is actually the sign that you are aware of who you are. I am, I did, I saw, I noticed. Using a lot of that helps you to identify, to create your own identity. Now, I'm going to create a scenario. I want someone to introduce themselves. That's what we have in the next slide, to the room. Now, you will need to pick someone from the room that you're going to be introducing to us or to someone. So thank God there are some adults in the room. But when you want to do an introduction, I need you to consider the age of the people. So for instance, we have teenagers in the room and then we have adults. But you also need to think of the social importance of that person. So I'm going to pick on somebody. I'm sorry, Dr. Princess. So I'm going to pick on Dr. Princess, for instance. Having the name Doctor as part of her title shows that she has high social standing because of academic achievement, right? So when you are in a room or you are in a place where you need to do an introduction, you need to consider the age of the participants. You introduce, if there's an adult in the room who is the oldest person in the room, you give that person precedence. So you introduce the adult to the young person. You introduce the adult to the young person, and therefore you turn to the young person and say, for instance, let me use my name, Chioma, meet my grandmother. So you introduce the adult to me because I'm younger. Now, if there is no adult in the room, or if the adult in the room is not the person who has a higher social standing, for instance, Dr. Princess, you still do the same thing. You introduce the adult to Dr. Princess or to me, the young person. Now, if there's no adult in the room, but there's someone with high social standing, you do the same thing. You introduce a person with a high social standing to the younger person. But if the two scenarios are not there, but there's a woman and a man, or there's a woman and children, so what do? You introduce the woman first. Now, this is a gender issue, and a lot of people are beginning to ask why. It looks as if you're giving the woman a smaller space and you're trying to belittle who she is. But my point is when you're doing introductions, you need to consider the age of the participants. You need to introduce the adult first, then you need to introduce the person with the social clout next before introducing a woman. Now, remember you have to have eye contact. You have to make sure you are speaking with your face. Don't shake your head too much, but make sure your voice is strong but respectful, and make sure you're polite. Now, I'm going to ask somebody to try introducing someone to us in this group. I hope you are ready. Now, the person needs to turn on their microphone. Please make sure your mic is on, make sure your video or your camera is on, and then pick someone in the room and then introduce that person to whomever you want. You can introduce the person to us, or you can introduce the person to one particular person in the room. I don't know if you understand the game I want us to play now. So let's practice. I know I've put introducing myself. I'm still going to ask someone to introduce themselves, but let's practice this game first. Introducing someone else. So, I don't know if anybody wants to put up their hands or to start introducing someone else first. So you need to think about eye contact. You need to look us in the face. You need to be bold and then try introducing the person. Is there anyone who wants to try? Mm-hmm.
Theon has her hand up.
Oh, good. Thanks for that. I can't see. So Sean, try. Thank you, Sean, for
Oh, that's
being the
Theon.
first.
I think that's Theon on
Oh,
the back.
Theon. Oh, good. Thank you. So Theon, can you please turn on your camera?
And in our case, if we're talking of social standing, I believe we have father here. So,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Hi, Sean.
Okay, yeah. So we're meant to introduce ourselves, or
We'll introduce ourselves next. For now, I
Oh.
want you to introduce someone in the room to us. So let's take this person with social importance. Father is here. So you want to introduce Father to us.
Okay. Hello, everyone in the meeting. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Father Patrick Etiquette. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. To everyone, he is a Reverend Pastor. And yeah.
Thank you. That's a great effort. Thank you, Sean. So now, Sean, I want you to try again. So this first attempt, you know, I want you to sound firmer, and I want you to sound, you know, more assertive. Just go straight to the point. Avoid the ums and the uhs and, you know, the vocal, you know, interruptions, and just go straight. Tell everyone. I don't want to be the ones telling you what to do, but just go straight to the point. Hello, everyone. Take a deep breath if you have to. So try again.
Okay, so hello, everyone in the meeting. Sorry, yeah. I'd like to introduce Reverend Father Patrick Etiquette, who is Reverend Father here.
All right. Thank you very much, Sean. Now, my point is this. When you introduce someone and you say to the person, hi, I'm Sean, I'd like you to meet Reverend Father Patrick. Father Patrick, please meet Sean. You see, that's part of the greeting etiquette. So you say, hi, Father Patrick, please meet Dr. Princess, please meet Father Patrick. So you just go from this person, you turn to the person you want to introduce, and then you go and then you say to the next person, please meet this person. Now, this is a social skill that we also need to imbibe. Someone might be wondering, oh, but it's just me and my friends. But you need to be able to introduce your teachers to your parents, the principals of your schools to your parents. You need to introduce your parents to people. And you must have listened to that video where Akila said, you need to talk to people, you need to introduce yourself to people. So let's try introducing ourselves to the room. I need 2 participants who are willing to share and introduce themselves to this gathering. So we've all been here. We don't know one another, you know, and this is the first time I'm meeting some of you, or you're meeting some of the people in the room. So how do you introduce yourself? We need 2 participants, two volunteers, really, who will introduce themselves to us. Do we have any volunteers? Okay. Sean.
Someone from the Ben household is, yes.
Thank you, the Ben household. So let's have you introduce yourself to us.
Well, my name is Tiffany Eze, and I'd like to introduce myself to all of you here. If I'd have to say anything about myself, I would say I am the youngest in my family. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. That's enough. That's enough. So anyone who is the youngest in the family may then want to respond and say, oh, how does it feel to be the youngest? Well, do they pamper you the way they pamper me? And you strike off a conversation from there. Thank you, Tiff. Let's have Cassie as well. Introduce yourself.
You need to unmute yourself, Cassie. Unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Cassie. I am 13. I am the second born in my family. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother, and I'm a student of Vivo.
Okay, thank you very much, Cassie. It's nice meeting you. Okay, now the other thing I want you to add when next you want to introduce yourself is to add your surname, your full name. Okay, when you want to introduce yourself, please remember to give your full name. And when you want to refer to adults, please remember to say, to give their title and then their names. Why? Because people want to hear their names when greeted. People just want to hear you, use their names, talk about them, mention them. So, and it's a way of showing that you're thoughtful, So let's move on quickly as we come to the end gradually of our presentations.